you get encouraged to, for example, the last two questions were, I don't know if they were okay. I wonder if you understood the last two questions about professional communities and places for conferences, and because some were surprising. I tried to commented on some of them that called my attention. Okay, whatever. Yeah, David.
No, yeah. So are you here, Omowumi?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So would you mind formulating your question for Dr. Marrero?
This is yes, I would like to ask in the presentation, he established that we are to make a syllabi, which will help us in conflict control and handling our students. Now, I want to know, are we to make the syllabi by ourselves, or will be provided when we get to our host institution?
Sorry.
Hello?
Yes, I didn't understand. Provided with the syllabi, or?
Or are we at the FLTAs, the one in position to make a syllabi of their own?
A syllabus on your own?
In your presentation?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm understanding well, but you mean whether you're going to have to make the syllabus completely on your own, or whether you will be provided like a template syllabus to work from, right?
Exactly, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it depends. If you are a solo instructor, you have to do it by yourself. If you are assisting a professor, you have to, I mean, he will give you something, but normally, as I say in the presentation, normally when you are a solo instructor, they expect you to know how to do basic work like building a syllabus. Or the best advice there is to go to the teaching office in your university, and there are a lot of templates and workshops and videos on how to build a syllabus in the US, which is, again, is super demanding, and now online is even crazier, because when you teach face-to-face, you are part of the show. You are the main clown of the show. When it is online, there are a lot of previous activities you have to get ready beforehand. So it's not only the syllabus, is everything you are doing online, because you are not anymore the main show or the main clown in the show. You have to rely on a lot of resources so that your class is successful. So normally you are treated as a average TA in the US, which is you have to do your syllabus, you have to find your materials, you have to know what you are teaching. Now, the resources from the Professor's Development Center, whatever it is in your university, is useful. And in my case, it was super useful. My TA fellow friends, I tried to reach out to whoever was teaching my class before, or at the same time, the same class. And I found a now friend who was really generous. He gave me his syllabus. He helped me picking readings. He helped me understanding what I was supposed to do. So I think, practically speaking, I would reach out to someone who taught the class before you. I mean, given the cultural difference, and given that you are international students, and as I was when I started teaching, I will try to reach to an American student teaching the class. That will help you to understand the culture the cultural differences. And as I mentioned, here's syllabi are crazy. They have a lot of information that at that time I didn't understand, and that I think that's a cultural thing. This David, in one previous conversation for the program, used the expression of the syllabus is like a contract you signed with your students, and so it has to be specific so that you know what to do and they know what to do, and that's the best way of dealing with everything in the class. So I will reach out to one of your fellow TAs in your department. That's part of why the previous work was just who is doing a TA, who is doing a PhD, who is doing what in your department, because that's the people that will help you improving, for example, your syllabus.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Your explanation has been really helpful.
But again, it's in your hands. The ball now is on your court. You are responsible to know if you are teaching by yourself or with someone. At this point, if you don't know that yet, that's the first thing I will go and ask. If you are responsible your class by yourself, or you are going to help someone.
No, just to second quickly what Dr. Marrero is saying, that I agree with him. People here in the U.S. are very open about sharing materials, very supportive amongst TA. So yeah, I think it's a really great recommendation. I think we have Mimo. Would you raise your hand?
Yeah, I did. Just concerning the syllabus, I think we can try to do it. I myself am going to be the primary teacher at my university, and I'm supposed to design or build my own syllabus. And my supervisor, he's a history teacher. He's not, he has nothing to do with languages and foreign language teaching, etc. So, but still, he helped me somehow. When I designed my syllabus, he asked me to send it to him. He had a look at it. He checked whether it has all the components necessary, and then there were some parts that are, I think, unique to the university, like some concerning whether you are allowed to drop a class, or, for instance, concerning plagiarism. So there are like specific or ready-made statements that you can just add to your syllabus. The other ones, they are your own, like how you would want to grade your students, the components you would take into account for your teaching, like whether you're going to have homeworks, portfolios, and participation and attendance. Of course, I think this is where you have some leeway to control that yourself. The other components are also concerned with your information, and also the materials you're going to use. The materials again depends on the level of students, and the university might already have a textbook that FLTA is used before, or the teaching assistants are used before. So you might just ask them for the textbook and then you include it there. I think it's not really problematic to build one. Like theoretically, the problems or the challenges is when it comes to implementation, how to teach this stuff. You can theorize about everything. It can be ideal and all. You can do it just as perfect as they would want you to do. But on the terrain, like on the field, is another question, and that's the challenge, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I think the challenge is in both parts. Obviously, the class is another thing. I'm not talking about that. You will have, I think, a whole week to talk about that. Professionally speaking, that was my experience, which is the extreme experience. I don't know if David and me, we went to the same department in the U of A, but we just knew 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago. So in my department, no mean people, but the culture is you build your class in your own because we are independent and you are smart. And normally you don't go to your professor to ask, hey, should I put this, or, you know, even they never ask you, what are you doing? They just get the reports at the end of the semester. So what I was sharing was my experience, but also preventing that extreme situation in which you are treated as a fully independent, average American graduate student teaching classes. And that sometimes is scary because you really don't know what to do. Even with what you are saying, there are components that you basically copy and paste from the university webpage. And there are components like how to grade in Colombia, which is my home country or my birth country. We grade in totally different ways. So even grading is also cultural. I remember, you know, Latinos, we don't arrive on time all the time, just to say it in a friendly way. And that was when I started studying here and then teaching. It was crazy that you come to the classroom, the physical classroom, and the students are already 10 minutes before you in the classroom when you are teaching. That is insane. That won't happen in Colombia ever. It doesn't matter what you do, they will arrive 10 minutes after the class starts. You know, so those small details are important. You always have to be on time. You don't need to be fanatic, you don't need to be 15 minutes before, but on time, you have to be on time. So yeah, so sure, that supervisors help, but sometimes they think you are smart. And you don't want to spoil that perspective of yourself. Maybe it's the only person thinking that you are smart, so you better prove him or her that you are. I wanted to say something about materials that I was working yesterday with two instructors, and we are building a class and whatever. And so it is a good idea once you decide which textbook you have. Sometimes it's not easy from our countries, and especially now, to find the materials. In the US, there is a good practice, which is when you are the instructor, normally you get a free book or access to the book without any charge. So if you reach out to the publishers of the book, normally the webpage is in the webpage when they do the advertisement of the book. If you reach to the publishers and they call that, I think the standard name is a revision copy or something like that. So you ask for the revision copy, and they have a procedure. They will ask you your name, your university, and your role, and that's it. The next day you won't have a hard copy of your textbook, but you will have access to the internet to the textbook, and it's a really easy way of having your textbook and starting working on your class, and not spending money on books, because you are not supposed to spend money on books, especially because we instructors are partners with the publishers, and you know, this is America, so we have to take advantage of that. And if we use their books, they sell their books, so they like for us to use their books. So that's a good advice. The first time I was about to spend a lot of money buying books and for the classes I was going to teach, and my friend said, no, you don't just write to the publishers and they will send you a copy, and it works perfectly.
Okay, Selvihan, I see you there, and I see that you wrote a question here. Would you like to ask that question to Dr. Marrero?
Yeah, good afternoon. Well, actually, I'm a bit curious about the gift-giving culture in professional context. You know, sometimes when you travel from a foreign country to a new country, you bring some, you know, let's say little treats to the people that you're gonna meet. Yeah, is it something appropriate, or is it something expected? Or sometimes in some cultures, when you are not really know each other, it's not appropriate to give gifts, little treats, whatever you call it. I just want to be informed before I attempt anything like that.
I like the list of adjectives you used. They are not expected at all. They don't expect you to bring you anything. So you are not mean. You don't have space in your luggage and you don't bring anything. You are not mean. They are not expecting you to bring stuff. It's nice. It's nice, but again, this I am doing really bad generalizations about we Latinx immigrants. So David is from Venezuela. He will correct me if I am wrong, but we are super dramatic. So we will bring a lot of stuff, and from Colombia we'll bring coffee, and we will bring. You don't need to do that. Just a small thing to be nice, especially to the staff in your department, will be nice. But nothing dramatic, nothing big, nothing expensive.
No, just
Something different, yes. And I mean, don't bring sneakers or stuff like that, because we have that in Walmart here. That's what you should think. Something that you won't find in a grocery store here. Small, and that's it. And it's not wrong to do it, but I think you should. Obviously, these rules are not black and white.
okay.
You are not expected to bring anything. If you do it, it's nice, but do not overreact. Just something small, and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Adria, are you here? So
Yes.
there you are. Hey, would you like to ask Dr. Marrero your question?
You can call me Danny.
Oh, I didn't write a question. I think I understood wrong.
Oh, okay. So, well, I just have from Adria, which I don't know if she's still here, but she's just asking pretty much the things that she sent it privately, but I'm sure she meant it like for everybody. Just about taking yoga classes, for example, and she's worried about whether she would be charged for it and whether that would constitute like a financial burden on her. So what advice can you give her on that?
Which kind of classes? I didn't hear the beginning of the question.
I think she said yoga classes.
Oh, I should have talked about this, but you are paying a tuition fee in your universities, whether you are here or not. And normally American universities have big gyms, and you are already paying for that. I mean, you have a grant, so you are not paying, but someone is paying for it. This is not, there is no such a thing like free things here. You know, so something is paying for your tuition fee and for the right for you to use the university gym and all the services. So the first thing I would do is to go to the university gym. In Arkansas, we have a huge, gigantic gym because it's a medium-sized university, and that's the case in most of the universities in the US. They have big gyms with a lot of facilities, classes that are free for students, most of them. So what I would do is to go to the gym first, and then if you want to take classes and pay for them, it's your choice. But normally the gym gives you, the university gym gives you everything you need to for your you know, this is another, now that I was thinking of this, I don't know how it's, I mean, we have different countries here, in at least in Colombia, I think in Venezuela is the same. The social function of universities is different. Like an average person in Colombia would live with their parents after finishing his or her BA. Here, they leave home when they are 18. That means, and they go to college. So that means universities have a social role because they are the replacement of home in society. Universities teach American kids, if I can use that word, to grow up into adulthood. And I mean, if you have thousands or hundreds of kids on campus and you don't provide entertainment, they will go crazy. They will burn the university. So part of the social function of universities is provide entertainment. And that's why the gyms are amazing. The gyms you see here in colleges are super good. They are almost professional for professional teams. So that's what I would use. And all the other resources of entertainment, as soon as you come, just use everything you can, from canoeing to yoga to everything you can. It's already paid for and it's expensive. If you had to pay the tuition, it will be expensive. And even online, they are creating a lot of activities too, and a lot of things that you can use. So reach out to those things, webinars and group meetings, and I don't know. There are a lot of online activities that universities are doing too, because they need to provide entertainment. Their students, if they are not on campus, they are in their houses, and they need to keep the students engaged with the university. If the students get bored, they will quit. And if they quit, nobody will pay that tuition. And universities need tuitions. That's as it works. So they provide a lot of things. Like from here, if you don't have a laptop, they will give you a laptop so that you can work from your house. And they give laptops to all the students in the universities. Or they provide internet in the parking lot so that you can work in your car if you don't go to your classroom. From that to entertainment. So what I want you to think is there are a lot of resources that are around you, and that's what you have to take advantage of, because normally it only happens with countries with a lot of abundance and where universities have the social function of being the second home away from home.
All right. We have a question from Patricia. Are you here?
Yeah, it's me. Hi. Hey there. Well, I don't actually remember my question. Let me just go through it real quick. I think that I was asking something about the PhD because I was going through your lecture earlier, and I say earlier because it's 2 p.m. here. And I was thinking, because I am planning on pursuing a PhD like you did after my master's, but I wasn't thinking of doing it. I was thinking of doing it after my FLTA, but after watching your lecture, I was wondering, could we, like, what is the best way to approach entering a sort of program? Like, what's the first step? What would you recommend? Because here in Spain, most universities are public, and so it's like a public process. There's nothing that you can do, like there's no networking or working for the university or anything. So this would be like completely new for me. I wonder if you had any advice.
Yes, sure. Is it? I understand the idea of your program. I think it's standard of Fulbright. You are encouraged to, or you are encouraged. No, the word would be you have to return to your home country after. I mean, at some point.
Yeah.
Normally, it happens immediately you finish, but that was my case. But you can stay here. For example, if you are starting a PhD program or MA program or whatever studies, and that's a reasonable justification. What you have to do is to do your military service in your country at some point, and they will control that, and your immigration status that will depend the rest of your life on that, and that's in your passport and in there. So the first thing I want to do is, I am not encouraging not to follow the rules. I think what I would do is first to see what is the admission process in your university, because it changes from one university to another. It depends on what they do as the procedure, and reach to your. So one of the questions was, the pre-work was who is working on your topic in your department. That's the first thing I would do. Talk to the professor who is researching on the topic you like to do your dissertation, and that will be the first contact, and he will give you the guidance to start your application or not start your application. But I definitely would try. Why not? I mean, you don't have this opportunity. You won't have this opportunity again. Not in the same conditions. I mean, I don't like to think that we have that life is a video game. We don't have extra lives. We have just one. That's part of taking your agency in your hands. If you think you find something you like, the first thing is check the procedure for applications. Have all your documents ready, so that if you can apply, you will have to do official translations from Spanish, yes, to English. Yeah. So have all that ready, and transcripts and all those things they ask for when you are applying. And why not? I would first check the procedure of the university you want to apply to, and then talk to your professor, or not necessarily your supervisor. Maybe your supervisor is not the person who is working on your topic. But what you should do is to identify, if not in your department, in other departments, who is the person who will be a good ally for your secret plan of getting a PhD in the US, which is not secret. That's what we do. It works. Everybody does it. Americans do it. American students do it. So why not? That's the goal. If you are an academic, that's the goal. So that's what I would do. And if you can, why not? Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Next, we have a question from Taiwo.
All right. Thank you. Good day, everyone. My name is Taiwo Opeolua from Nigeria. I would like to know who will pay if I have the opportunity of presenting a paper during a seminar, if possible, after this lockdown. If I have the opportunity of presenting a paper in another host institution, so am I going to pay, or my host institution is responsible for that? Thank you.
So papers and publications and going to conferences and is part of your academic agency. If you want to grow, that's what you do. And that reminds me, some of the answer of the questions, the last question of the pre-work was find some information about conferences and places where you can present or attend to or whatever. And some of you answer thinking of, in my department, they do this. This is not for your department. This goes beyond your FLTA experience. It has to be, your goal has to be presenting constantly in different places, with or without the virus. A good example is right now I am presenting in a virtual workshop in the Princeton Environmental Institute, something on climate change, and I am not there. I put the presentation there. They are commentators. They are writing things about my paper, and I am writing things about the stuff they are doing. This one is up to you individually. You should look for places, send proposals, and go. Now, there is something nice about American universities when you are in this stage, when you are a graduate student, and they know this is part of your development as a professional, as an academic. So normally they give you some money so that you can go or register to the conferences. So I would reach for that. Normally the rule is that that help is for TAs or graduate students in general. So I use several times resources from the UA to go to conferences, no problem. They don't, the only thing they ask is, what are you presenting? Let me see that they are taking you in, and that's it. So I would, the first thing is you have to look for places. Where are the call of papers in your area? That's the first thing you have to do. If it is not live, then online. That's, in this moment, I am doing mostly online because I am not leaving my house. Just going back to the first question, Texas is crazy too. So we are not leaving our house, but I am doing presentations online in conferences, because that's how you know people outside your apartment, outside your university. That's how people know you. That's how you grow, because you are challenged. Normally the call for papers are not, if you are lucky, they are about your specific research topic, but sometimes they are not, and you are challenged by the topics and you think you can write something and present something interesting, and that's a possibility of opening new paths for research, you know? So what I've done in my life, which is, this is part of, not to talk about me, but to talk about experiences, is be looking for places all the time. The webpage I shared with you, which is for philosophers, is really helpful because everything in the philosophical world is there, but I am sure in your fields there is something similar. And if not, we just look for it. Look for the conferences, look for the places to interact, look for conferences and workshops, and that's part of your academic career. In some universities here, part of the process of hiring you as a full-time professor is you have to go to a specific number of conferences a year, and you have to publish a specific number of papers a year. And if you don't do it, you are not hired. Actually, you are fired. They finish your contract. So that's something you have to do if you want to grow, and that's something to learn from this culture. We just don't sit on our degrees. We have to keep producing and being in contact and interacting and growing as academics and scholars.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so next we have a question from, and I don't want to mispronounce your name, but I'm gonna try to pronounce it the right way. Anyway, Gadir.
Hello, it's Gadir.
Gadir, hey.
Hi. I wanted to ask about the courses that we take while we stay there, not the courses that we teach. So to my understanding, we have to take 12 credits overall during the 2 semesters. But I was actually surprised that they emailed me that most probably I'm going to be having 9 credits this semester only, which is virtual, and I'm not sure about the workload. I don't think that's preferable. I wanted to ask if we can, like, if I as an FLTA can voice that, or if it's acceptable, or if they expect that I might say that this is too much workload on me that might affect the workload that I have to do in teaching my courses. So I just wanted an opinion on that.
So can I rephrase your question? You're asking if you have to take the classes, you don't want to? Is that?
No. Okay. It's a total of 12 credits over the 2 semesters. Usually it's 6 credits in the fall, 6 credits in the spring. But what I was told that I have to take 9 credits in the fall semester and leave 3 for the spring semester, which the load is, I'm not sure about the load. Like, did you understand my question?
Yes. Now I understand. Oh God, that's a good dilemma. Because my intuition, but that's me, is to do what they say. But I understand your concern. I would talk to your advisor. Normally, that was my experience. Normally, advisors are really responsible of measuring your load work and seeing if they are burning you or not. Normally, I mean, normally they do a good job. I mean, you have a really bad luck if your advisor or your supervisor is not paying attention of she's doing too much or she's not doing enough. Normally they are monitoring that well. So my intuition would say I would trust that that will be fine. But if that's your concern, I will reach your advisor. Do you have, I know you have a supervisor. Do you also have an advisor, or is the same person?
Yes, no, I actually reached out for my advisor, and he said like you have to discuss this with the department at the university. But I didn't send the email yet because I'm not very sure.
Yeah.
I think 3 courses, because honestly, I think 3 courses along with my teaching duties on the first semester on a virtual platform, I think that would be like a bit not very efficient or productive. Not that I can do it. I'll probably have to if I have to, but I just wanted to see if there's a way that I can reach, or there's something that I can do about it.
I don't know if David has another, or some of you have another idea, but I think you already did it. You already tried to talk to your advisor, and if I were in your situation, but that's me, I would do whatever they say. But that's me. I won't. Normally, I put a lot of work on me, and then I realize I couldn't do it. Yeah, the other TAs are doing the same, or the other graduate students are doing the same?
I didn't understand your questions.
Are the other TAs at the university doing the same?
The only FLTA there.
But TAs, not international, but Americans. Do you know what what's
I
their?
haven't got in contact with them. Maybe, but like I haven't gotten in contact with them.
Maybe that's a good idea, to see if you can talk to one of them to see how many credits they are expected to take. And then, well, get ready, have your class ready already, and start reading for your classes. Sometimes they give you the syllabi in advance. So David.
You know, I'm thinking, Gadir, because usually in a regular academic year, not a coronavirus year, usually if you're teaching, right, if you have a teaching assistantship, then the minimum requirement of credit hours is 6 credit hours, meaning 2 courses, 3 credit hours per course. But I'm thinking that the reason why they might be asking you to take a bigger load, namely 9 credit hours, might be because of the fact that you're taking it online, right, remotely. That might be the reason why. And that might be the reason why your advisor cannot give you like a clear-cut answer like yes or no, because it's a bit unprecedented and every university is taking a bit of a different approach depending on the case. So since it's something so kind of like shifty, and to get like an answer, I would say I would recommend this. I think talking to your advisor, your academic advisor, is a way, but you tried that and you didn't get a straight answer. So the other thing you can do is talk to your international student advisor, which is different. So here at the University of Arkansas, right, you have the academic advisor, which is just a faculty in the department, and it's just the one that is going to give you advice as to like what Danny is saying, what would be too many courses to take, what would be like equivalent to burnout, stuff like that. On the other hand, the international students advisor is the one that handles the immigration stuff and the minimum requirement stuff. And they're the ones that are really updated with all this information and guidance from Homeland Security. So for us here, it's called International Students and Scholars Advisors. And it's just an independent office of international student advisors who are updated in this. And then you can talk to them directly. Here at the University of Arkansas, they have like a chat session. So when you go to the website, they tell you, I'm looking at right now here, the new chat hours for us, for example, and it's like, for example, Monday through Friday, and then they have 2 hours here, 2 hours there. And then you can literally go there and chat with them wherever you are and ask them those questions directly. So those are the ones that have the final word here, not your academic advisor, because your academic advisor is going to advise you in general, like what would be best for you. But the international student advisor is the one that's going to give you, okay, this is the guidance. You have to take 9 credit hours minimum period, no matter what. Otherwise, you're not going to be like eligible for the completion of the program, because you're going to be like, you know, taking less than the minimum required. Okay. So I would say, go to your university website, look for the international students like office, look for the international student advisors emails, email them directly with this question. However, many times they take a while to reply to those emails because they get so many that that's not the best way to reach them many times in many universities, for example, here at the U of A. So instead of doing that, try to email them too, right? But if not, also try to see if they have like a chat. If not, find a number. They have a phone number and just give them a call. But I would say try any and every way to figure that out with them, okay? And they're the ones that are gonna tell you. And whatever they say, that's in the end the final word.
Yeah, but it seems that that's, I mean, I don't think that's an exception. I might think that's the rule, and all the people in your role might be doing the same. I mean, normally here they don't give more credits to one student or whatever. It's just, that's, maybe it's because all the TAs at the university, all the graduate students are doing the same. And then, well, that's what you have to do because the rest are doing it. That's the rule. But yeah, check. I mean, I would do all those ideas to see.
Okay, thank you.
And
Yeah.
be nice. Try to be nice. Do not bug your supervisor or advisor too much, because then you know, for a professional relationship, that's not a good idea. I mean, he will start thinking, this girl again. You know, you don't want that. So I understand your concern, but be nice.
Okay.
All right, guys. We have time for one more question, and I have it here already from Eram. So Eram, would you like to ask your question to Danny?
Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, like, as an FLTA, we are supposed to take 2 audit courses or 2 credit courses. So since I'm unaware of the US academic system, so I was wondering, like, what is the difference? First of all, what is the difference between a credit course and an audit course? And if I'm taking an audit course per se, so will I be getting any certification for that, or any kind of letter to certify that I have done those 2 courses? So this is my question.
As far as I understand, if you are auditing a class, you don't get a certification. That's exactly the difference. If you're taking a class, you get grades and it is in your records. If you're auditing a class, you don't. But the most important thing is that you are sitting there, you are learning, you are making relations, you are meeting professors, you are meeting students, and that's what counts. But normally, that's exactly the difference between the auditing and taking a class with credits. You don't get the register or the historic register of you taking the class, but the other thing is in your life anyways. You meet the professor, you learn about the topic, and you meet people, and that I think that's super important too. So I mean, sometimes, especially in your position, you are going to be here one academic year.
Yeah.
Which we don't know if they are finishing this first semester earlier. In some universities took that approach, and they are finishing the semester during the Thanksgiving break, which is in November, almost 1 month before the rest of the university. So it's one academic year, not a calendar year, which is shorter. And then it's even shorter if the university decides to finish before because of the pandemic. So what I would do is to take all the advantages I can and be strategic, because you don't want to put too much on you, but you want, for example, if the classes you have to take are not specifically when you were to research on, or there is another professor that you want to meet, or there is other, just audit the class.
Yeah.
As long as you are responsible. If you go to a class, once you start sitting in at the class, you should keep going, you know, because
Yeah.
it's your word that I mean, it's your word and your presence and your responsibility, which is at the stage.
Yeah. Thank you for that answer, Danny. I was also kind of wondering, will it be appropriate to ask for like some kind of letter from them that I have attended this course? I was just wondering.
Sure, normally they don't do that.
Okay.
Normally don't. I don't think it's wrong.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of recommendation letters. In this culture, you ask for a lot of recommendation letters,
Yeah.
but not letters of attending a class or auditing a class. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So like that is what my question was exactly. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys. That's gonna be it for this session.
Can I say something
Yeah,
to
yeah.
close, David?
Oh,
Sorry. Thank you very much for your nice comments about my struggles here. That was, I've had a really difficult week, working a lot till really late. And the last thing I do is to see your comments or whatever, discussions or whatever. So thank you. That some days that made my day and gave me a smile. So thank you very much for your nice comments. And I hope you really take this opportunity in your hands. I mean, it doesn't matter that there is a pandemic. Everybody's doing the same that you are doing. Your professors are in their houses going crazy because they cannot go outside. So take advantage of that. Email people, bother people, go to webinars, go to all the meetings you can in your university. If you are thinking of a PhD, try to apply to the PhD. Just don't think that whenever the pandemic is over, I will do what I am supposed to do, or I will do what I want to do. This is the time. And nobody's doing anything different, at least, well, here in the United States, they do a lot of different stuff, but this is the time, okay? And thank you very much. David.
All right, Danny, I wanted to thank you for this live Q&A and for all your work that you're putting in this and for all the help that you're giving this FLTAs. And I want to help also all the attendees. Thank you for your attention and for your questions. So remember that we are going to have today another live Q&A with Danny in case you want to pop in and ask him other questions at some other point, meaning at 5 p.m. Eastern today. And then remember that we also have 3 sessions with ambassadors. One is going to be right now at 9 a.m. Eastern time, another one at 6 p.m. and another one at 10 p.m. So mark that on your calendars and be sure to attend some of this.
Last thing.
All right, guys.
Last thing. I know some of you are writing me in the chat. I'm sorry, I am not a multitasker. I cannot respond to your questions and read and write on the chat. So sorry. I will try to read the chat later and respond to your accounts or whatever it is. But right now I can't. Sorry if you have that expectation.